Adam Bicknell, thank you very much for joining us with a referee's jersey behind you there, which a lot of Elite League fans will have seen you reffing games this season. But why would people know you more from hockey prior to this season reffing in the Elite League?
Um, I've played a bit. I've been around the game for a long time. Having played in Slough from juniors, starting my senior career there when I was 16. So I've definitely played a bit, certainly against the Guildford Flames, and there's been a few people who have recognised me so far. Now the cat's out of the bag, really, so they're all going to start slating me. But yeah, I've played for a few years.
I mean, more than just played for a few years, played in the BNL, played in the EPL, captain of the Slough Jets, captain of the Bracknell Bees. Just kind of talk me through some of your favourite career highlights that you had playing in those teams, because the BNL was a good level back when you played in Slough.
Yeah, I had a really good introduction to ice hockey, really, with Scott Rex was the coach in Slough. We were in the BNL. That was the days where it was eight imports, and we had a really good bunch of guys there. We got looked after really well, the Steffens. And it was great, really good times. I rode the pine a little bit, I sat on the bench. Quite when I did my first game, Younger was doing his first season on the line. Actually, it was quite. So we've sort of gone through the same time, but no, it was really good. BNL, we travelled the country, we played lots of games, and then it sort of we slowly dropped down the leagues to the EPL. We had some fun times in the EPL with that Slough Jets team. Some right characters, some really good games, a good bunch of guys, and that's why I love the game. I signed in Bracknell 2005, and we had a real good team, and that was the first time I've actually won anything, and we did the league and playoffs and cups. So that was a great sort of finish to my career. And then I've finished playing a little bit of EIHL with the Hornets, again. I keep going back to great guys. I think that's what the journey of ice hockey has been, being with the boys, and it's been great fun.
Being chosen or elected as a captain and in Slough and Bracknell, that must have been a huge honour as well.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened. It wasn't really, you didn't put your name forward, it just sort of happened. Some of the teams I was on, there's some big characters, Nicky Chin, Danny Myers. You're sat in a room thinking, blimey, I'm going to have to tell Jason Rushton here to calm down a little bit, and you're suddenly in it. But I loved it, and I was never someone to order people around. I think I tried to lead through my actions. So great honour, and something I look back on with great pride.
When we talk to some referees, I mean, Dean Smith was on Premier Sports a few weeks ago talking about he got into reffing. A lot of guys have played junior hockey, but when it comes to kind of the 18, 19 age, make that transition. Very few guys go into refereeing having basically played a full playing career and retired from that. How did this come about?
I don't know. No, I think I'd always said to Dave Cloutman, actually, I'd love to give it a go. I'm a teacher. I've been a teacher for 19 years. I'm definitely feeling a lot more of my teaching skill set coming into play when I referee, as well as my playing. But I think it's always been something I've been interested in. The boys we've always had a little moan at the referees. And I thought, why don't I give it a go? And I can see if it is as hard as the referees say it is, and actually see it from the other side. And also, it keeps me in the game. It's been lovely to just get a skate and be around the boys again, and keep me in touch with the game that I love. So yeah, I wasn't planning to do it. I certainly fell into it, and it's been great so far.
What was the first game then you ended up doing, walking out with the stripes on?
I think I did a rec game, but that's a lie. I did a game with Lee Young, and a young referee, I can't remember it was, in Guildford, and it was like an under-12s and an under-14s, and I was on the line, and I didn't know where the hell I was going. We got off after the first period, and Younger was like, "You are all over the place." I just wanted to skate and join the I didn't know where to stand. Nerve-wracking, I think, it is the way to explain it. And then I've refereed a few rec games and eased into that. But it's been, they've thrown me in the deep end at times. It's been really good.
So in that progression, when did you then first go into doing games, let's say with a paying crowd, sort of NIHL or National League level?
That I sort of missed that, actually. I've done a lot of I did a lot of juniors, and they started to put me into under 18s. I've really enjoyed doing the under-18 stuff. It's great because I'm a teacher, I think seeing those youngsters, I could coach them a little bit while I was refereeing. I did a game, men's game in Gosport. That was a bit of a crash and bang. That's a baptism by fire in there. And then COVID hit, and I got injured. Then COVID hit, and I was just getting going, and the season got cut short. And then after COVID, I got a game in Haringey. Then the next thing I know, I'm doing a game in Cardiff in the Elite League.
So talk me through that then. You turn up at Ice Arena Wales. Must have been quite nervous even before the game. What were the other guys like with you in the locker room even before you went out?
Well, it started about a week before the game. You get your allocations about a week in advance, and it came from my phone, and I was like looking at my phone, this can't be right. So I messaged. I've got, I think what I've noticed in refereeing, it's a real sort of brotherhood. There's a real team. So I've got some real close people that have helped me. So I messaged a few of those guys, Blaine Evans being one of them, and saying, mate, I think they've made a mistake on the allocations. And it had Hoagie on it. And I know Stefan quite well because he's a Bracknell boy. So I messaged Hoagie and said, am I actually doing this game with you? And he went, yep. And I was absolutely wrecking it. For a whole week. I couldn't, honestly, the anxiety and the nerves of that week built sort of crescendoed really. But they met me before the game in the coffee shop, the Costa opposite Cardiff, and we had a little meet there. We had a coffee, and the boys were great. I couldn't have asked for a better team to have done my first game with. So Onesie, Carmichael, and Hoagie, they really held my hands through it. Great experience.
And what was it like? What was the immediate? Okay, you go out there. It's obviously pretty packed house in Cardiff. What are the immediate differences, just in a game perspective? Also, two-man system, I guess, as well, that you were then getting used to.
There's a really as we came out for the warm-up, to Cardiff get the fans going. The lights are off. They have quite a big intro. I come flying out onto the ice. I'm in game mode, so I think I'm ready for. I'm getting like arousal levels, like I'm going to play a game. I look down, I put my gloves on, and I'm thinking, "You're refereeing tonight, Vic, not playing." So it really got me going, that warm up. And the national anthem started, and I started looking up and down the blue lines. Both teams have got some big boys, haven't they? And I'm sort of looking at the D-men, thinking, "Wonder if I'm still up for playing against these boys." And I was quite happy I had the ref shirt on. And then the game started. It was a quick goal at my end, and before you know it, you've blown the whistle. You've got your arm out, and you're in the zone. It's like playing. The crowd disappear, and you're straight in on the action. So I was buzzing. It was great.
In that sort of four-man reffing system, so with the two referees, when you're playing, you're always looking, for space. You're looking to make plays. When you're in that and you don't follow the puck in certain instances, was that quite a difficult adjustment to make, to know that you need to be looking at your area sometimes rather than watching where the puck is?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I'm learning is that. So obviously being an ex-player, people say, oh, you're an ex-player, you should be able to do it. And my admiration for the refs is that sixth sense they have of where to look and where to be. I haven't done much four-man stuff, so my positioning is the thing that I thought it'd be the rules knowledge, and I was in that build up to that first game. It was, do I know enough technical rules? And actually, when you're in a two-man system, you've got that experienced guy that looks after that bit. And it's more about positioning, where to be, what to look at, and that's the thing I'm working on at the moment. And that's been the biggest eye opener for me. When you play, you don't even look where the refs are. I really did. I didn't have a clue where, because they stay out of the way. So I don't watch ice hockey really. I love playing it, but I've started watching the Premier League on the TV, and I've started watching a bit of NHL. But I'm watching the refs now more than I'm watching the players, just to get an idea of that positioning.
Going into reffing, I mean, it's not, we look at this as the elite league, as the top league in the country, but it's not just about refereeing the top games, is it? Because there's a whole structure of hockey that needs game officials just as much as it needs players.
It's really opened my eyes to the number of games there are. I couldn't believe the number of ice hockey games that get played over a weekend. And then you've got this whole army of referees, linesmen from, a range of levels, all completely passionate about ice hockey, but they're grinding out games every weekend. and often with no recognition. They turn up to rinks to do junior games. Often people aren't satisfied with what they've done, but they're all turning up to an honest game. They absolutely love it, and I don't think I would be. I don't think I'd have this opportunity without the support of some of those people that really took me under their wing. The first thing was like, where do I get the trousers from? Where do I get my name bar done? And you've got these people that I met at a conference in Nottingham, and I've never met them before, and they're like, Bix, we'll lend you that, we'll give you this, and they really took me under their wing and showed me the ropes. So there's so many people I could thank at this point. And I think that, if you're at a junior game next, say well done to the referee or linesman, because they do a great job.
How have your friends reacted to taking on the black and white stripes?
Obviously, quite a few of my friends are involved with ice hockey, but they know I'm a teacher as well, so I think they see that there's a natural link there. I get a bit of stick, you know how it is. I still haven't reffed many of my old playing friends. There's a few of them still playing, and I think that's going to be interesting. But no, it's been nice, very supportive, and actually a lot of positive messages to say well done, really pleased, etc.
Aside from like the on ice with experienced guys, you've mentioned, like, what else have you been learning coming into then a professional league and refereeing?
Yeah, the support you get from other referees has been awesome. So when I was doing the junior stuff, you'd talk in the car on the way back and you'd exchange messages. Since I've stepped up to the Elite League, they have a weekly Tuesday call where you get a chance to listen to the most experienced referees and linesmen share their thoughts on some of the highlights from the weekend before, and really try and create that standard of refereeing. And it's been so insightful. I've probably learned more in the 6 weeks of that happening than anything else I've done. So it's a real privilege to be in that call. Really does make you think. I don't think you appreciate that when you're playing. These boys take it so seriously. They love the game. They want the game to flow. They're there to support the game. And I think when you're playing, you just think they're there to disrupt the game, and they're really not. They're so passionate. I mean, yesterday we had such a long chat about a call that was made at the weekend, just to make sure we're all on the same page and that we make sure the game works. And yeah, they do a great job. I don't think you don't give refs enough credit. In any sport, they genuinely love the game as much as the players that play it.
Something that's always brought up is that we need more ex-players going into refereeing, because there's a sense of what goes on in the game having played it. Have you noticed there are certain things that because you're a player, you notice more, or was it the opposite, like you said, oh, I need to be out of the way now rather than trying to get stuck in?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I actually I think my skating ability, any person that's played to a decent level doesn't have to worry about their skating. So I can put my focus on where I need to be. Is there a call? Making the call is probably the biggest thing, being brave enough to do it. So playing gives you the skating ability. It does give you awareness of where to be. It doesn't give you that sense of when to give the penalty, and that's where I'm at the moment. So I think also being a player gives you credibility. So when I do some of the lower leagues where I know a few more of the players, there's that smile, and there's that you make a call and they trust you. And some of the refs are fantastic, but where they haven't played, the players don't give them a chance. The coaches don't give them a chance. So I think being an ex-player, you're accepted. I ref the game on Sunday, and the players really enjoyed it, and they said it was great to have an ex-player doing it because you understand us. That I might understand them, but I think it's just having that acceptance, key word.
Cool. Outside of hockey, I've got to ask, what do you teach?
So I'm a PE teacher by trade at Hollyport College, but I'm assistant head there, so I'm in charge of all the teachers. I was in charge of behaviour last year, so I used to tell a lot of kids off. And I found that I'm using my teacher voice quite a bit as a referee. Some ice hockey players can be like little children, so it is quite good to raise your voice and tell them what they're doing wrong. But yeah, PE teacher, very active, enjoy my sport.
What's that like then? You mentioned people can be angry when you're skating over to a coach and you know that they're not going to agree with the call you've made. You know, what's going through your mind? Because you must have been in that the other way when you knew, as a captain, you knew the ref's coming, you knew you're not going to like what he's going to say. How do you kind of deal with that?
This is what I deal with at school every day. I actually listened to Dean Smith doing his interview the other day on Premier Sports, and he was talking about trying to read the other person. In teaching, we say fight fire with water. So if someone's really ramped up, you can be the complete opposite. So if they're fired up, you try and diffuse that by just going, look, come on, calm down. Or what I noticed Smithy did in a game, and this is where you learn from other referees. They'll give them a shift space, so they'll let a shift play out. The refs, if a coach is screaming, they'll let a shift play out, and then they'll skate by the bench whilst they calm down. Usually, in the heat of battle, you're going to say anything, aren't you? Instantly. Give it a minute, 2 minutes. Usually, someone's calmed down. So, refereeing is as much about emotional intelligence, ice hockey intelligence. You've got to read people. I think you've got to be the master of negotiation, particularly in a four-man system where someone else is making a call. You've got to support your teammate on the ice, and you've got to be able to say, look, I didn't make that call, but trying to explain where you think it came from. It's a real art form, and you don't get it right all the time. You don't get it right.
Obvious question coming up now, but there will be hopefully some guys watching this coming to the end of pro careers thinking, oh, reffing, really? What would you say to them?
I think there's an opportunity there for you to stay in touch with the game. I mean, I played up to the BNL. I didn't play. I guessed it a couple of times in the elite league, and now I'm refereeing in the top league in the country occasionally, and I'm getting a chance to keep my legs going. It's great to be around the boys, and I think there's a lot of value for us to add. Challenge yourselves. I'm 41. You know, you go through life where you need a few new challenges, and I think it's a perfect opportunity for them to stay in the game. I'd be more than happy to speak to them about it. I've challenged a few of my friends that I know have just stopped playing. I'd love to have a team of ex-teammates, having a refereeing team of ex-players. That would be an interesting game. But no, I think they should go for it and be brave. Take the stick, smile, have a bit of fun. It's really rewarding, and you join a new team. Yeah, I think you sometimes think the referees and linesmen are acted as silos. They're on their own. You're really not. You know that chat we had the other night. I think there were 30 people in it. You're in a team of people that want to look after each other. So yeah, it's a bit like playing. You're in a team, and it's really good.